Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Your host, the Raven, here, back with part two of my Merciless Ascendancy, the Aspirant's trial. This one's going to be a much shorter video than the first part and the third part because it's a maze, and like all mazes, sometimes you find the right path. You're fortunate and you just find the right path and you go forward really quickly. And sometimes you're not so fortunate and you wind up like having to backtrack or getting lost and stuff like that. So this second part, I just happened to make it through pretty fast. Every door I picked just happened to be the right way forward. And at the time I was playing, I didn't really care for finding treasure or stuff like that because if you haven't got the ascendancy points yet, if you haven't completed the trial yet, your main concern is to actually complete the trial. I mean, there's always treasure, there's always loot and stuff, but it's better just at that moment I just need the ascendancy points, and that was my focus. So I found the way forward, and if you check your map location on those bronze plaques, they're at the entrance and exit of every area. You can see that it shows you with a little indication like this. There's other paths, or there's another way out. And if you so choose, you can go back and take that direction to look for treasure, or whatever. Also, there's Argus, Izaro's pet. He's a optional boss that is in the aspirant's trial, and then his room is like random. Like sometimes he's in the early part of the map. Like the first time I fought him, I actually came up on him by accident, and he's extremely powerful. Very very powerful physical attack. Super high defense. It's like wow, like it's like you're beating on a rock with your fists. I mean, it's like he's a very powerful creature. I managed to beat him by just kind of playing like a ring, kind of ring around the rosy game of, leave a totem, attack him a little bit, then run off really fast. And he's quick too. Like you need speed flash to beat him. And the thing about Argus is he drops a treasure key. So if you're really in it for treasure, or if you, especially if you completed the trial before and you're just doing it for treasure, which and that's a valid thing to do. A lot of people come to the aspirant's trial just for treasure and not for the ascendancy points or whatever. Argus does drop a treasure key, so it would be in your best interest to explore. But like I said earlier, my interest was just get the trial done, get it over with or whatever. Also in the dark shrine, there's also things called in the trial. There's called things called Darkshrines, mysterious Darkshrines. Now, there's shrines throughout the map and out the main game. You know all of them. The acceleration shrine, the frost shrine, the freeze and pulse shrine, and the shock nova shrine. The ones you run into. At first they give the enemies a boost, but if you touch it, you get the boost, temporarily. I think the base is 45 seconds, but passive skills you may have or modifiers on your equipment that you may be wearing can increase that duration. Because usually I've had some last more than a minute. So there's a factor in that, but those are always good. The regular shrines, they always give you a bonus. They're always something positive, long as it's on your character. Now with the mysterious dark shrines, it's a coin toss. You can get something really good or you can get something really bad. And the thing is, they're permanent. You can't get rid of it no matter how hard you try if it's something bad. So if you wind up with a curse, you're cursed for the entire trial period. There's no way, it's never going to go away. Even if you pass, you beat a Zaro or whatever and move on to the next section, it's still going to be with you. And this is where cooperation and teamwork comes into play too. Because if you're with a friend and you're doing a co-op and they want the shrine and you don't, if they get it and it's something bad, it will apply to you. And the same thing, if it's something good, it'll apply to you also. But it's a risk. Me personally, I don't usually like taking the risk because I've gotten good things from it, but they've never been like, wow, game changing boons or bonuses. Something where it's like, man, I can't believe, this is so great. I'm so glad that I touched the shrine and I looked up and got this to happen. I mean, I've seen some cool effects. The fire arrows coming out and stuff like that. But 9 times out of 10, it's more the bad ones like permanent curses and stuff like that. Like they're way worse to get a bad one. Like the bad ones are way more than they have more of effect than the good ones. So to me, it's not so I don't really get it, but so that's something if you're doing co-op, you might want to communicate with your friend like, hey, I don't trust these or whatever, because it will apply to you both to both of you. So when we have our second fight with Azaro. Now this fight, he has three living golems. And each one he has to activate. You can't kill them or damage them until he chooses to activate one. And I've heard that if you let the golems live and like you're able to beat Izaro and he has all of the three statues or his three buddies helping him by the end of the fight, he'll carry him into the next fight and he'll be more powerful or he'll have more power. I don't know if he actually carries the physical golems with him, but he'll be more powerful. And if you manage to beat him again with while he's at like full power or full boon or something like that, he will drop an extra treasure key where he only drops one if you beat him like in his weakened state, and he'll drop two if you beat him at full power. And I have gotten two when I've done the normal difficulty one and the cruel difficulty one. He's dropped two keys both times, and then this time he only drops one key, but I was surprised at that, but that's I was told that's the reason why because I killed off the golems as you can see in this fight, and that's why he only has one treasure key. So it's possible to get two from Izaro and one from Argus, his pet. So if you've already completed the trial, if you've already got the ascendancy points, it'll probably be in your best interest to explore for treasure. A lot of people use the map for looting, the Aspen's trial for looting, but I wouldn't recommend it as a leveling thing because the enemies are really weak. Especially if you're able to beat Azaro, then by chances are you're at a high enough level or power level that the enemies won't give you that much of an experience bonus or boost. So, and plus, there's always the danger of getting killed by traps or something like that. So that's another reason why I wouldn't use the Aspirant's trial for leveling purposes. But anyway, as you can see, fighting is intense. I like the Azaro fights. I like the music. It's just great action. The whole trial is just amazing. Anyway, I'm your host, Raven. Stay tuned for part 3. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And have a great day.